In this tutorial, we'll see how to import a contact list from an Excel file. The import operation in Dialog Insight involves several steps. You must first prepare the file to import. Also, if this is a brand new project and you're importing your contact list for the first time, you'll need to make sure that the project contains the fields you need to gather information about your contacts. Then determine the type of import to do. And once the file is imported, match the data from the imported file to the project field so that the data is entered in the correct place. Finally, you have to validate and approve the import. So to start, let's look at the Excel file that contains the list of your contacts. As you can see, the file has several columns, values for each column, and a header line, and sometimes two. What you want to do is to import the data from this file into Dialog Insight, either in full or only some columns. Then you have to open Dialog Insight and make sure you're in the project where you want to import the contacts. Once the correct project is selected, go to the Contacts menu and select the Import option. On the new Import page, you must first specify the source of the import. In our case, we want to import the data that's in the Excel file, and then select the file. Back to the Import page, you have to specify where you want to import the data from the file, in a list of contacts or in a relational table. Most of the imports will be in your contact list. Importing data into a relational table is used to import secondary data on your contacts, which you want to keep away from the contact card so that you don't overburden your database. In the next section, choose the import type. Here we will keep the default type a full import, which consists of adding the new contacts in the file and modifying the contacts that are already in the project, if any have been modified in the Excel file. If you only want to add the new contacts from the file, you can choose the import type to add without touching the contact data that's already existing in the database. For the update import type, it only updates the contact data that already exists in Dialog Insight. Even if the file has new contacts, they would not be imported. Once all the information has been specified, click Continue. In the following page, we are presented with two editing modes, Simple or Advanced. It is advisable to use the simple mode since it meets the most common needs. Once the file is imported, it is necessary to specify in which field you want to put the data from the Excel file. If you have imported this file before and have already mapped the columns of the file to the project fields, and you have saved this match, you can select this format from the list so that the assignment will be already made. Otherwise, you will have to assign each of the columns that you want to import. Data mapping is done under the Field Mapping section. The first column displays the various column headings of the file you just imported. The second column shows the content of each column for one row of the file. To see other lines or other contacts, use the arrows here. The third column is used to select the field of the project in which the data from the file will be entered. By opening the drop-down list, you will see all the fields that exist in your project. What you want to do here is to select the field of the project in which you want to import the corresponding data. Some details not to be forgotten. A single project field can be associated with only one column. So if you have already assigned a data item from the file to a project field, this field cannot be assigned to another column. So if you choose a field that's already associated with data, the previous assignment will be deleted and assigned to the last one. Know that you must absolutely associate a column with the fields that are required. That is, those fields that are marked with a key because they make up the primary key, and also those that are marked with a star because they're mandatory in the project. Once you have finished assigning all the columns that you want to import, most of the work is done. If you intend to reuse the same file to make other imports, it is advisable to save the import format for later. This will prevent you from having to reassign the fields to each import, unless there are new columns, and in this case you will only have the new columns to assign. If you want to, check this option and give a name to the format. Once the assignment is complete, check the import analysis data, the number of rows read, added, and updated, if there are any errors, and so on. If all seems okay, approve the import by clicking on the Approval button. Otherwise, if you see too many errors or something that does not seem normal, you can choose to redo the assignment or reject the import. In the case of a rejection, the entire import procedure is cancelled and must be repeated from the beginning. For our import, everything seems normal, so we will approve the import. It is with the approval of the import that the data from the file is actually integrated in the fields of the project. On the confirmation page, you can see the import definition, the import results, and the sequence and duration of the processing. What to do next? Several functions can follow an import. The most common ones are presented at the bottom of the window.